Welcome to our latest video, where we explore the troubling reality of European cities on the brink of disappearance by 2025. Climate change, rising sea levels, economic instability, and other factors are threatening the very existence of some of the continent's most iconic cities. These cities are not just important cultural and historical landmarks, but also homes to millions of people whose futures hang in the balance. In today's video, we'll explore the top 10 European cities that could vanish by 2025, as well as the reasons behind their vulnerability. Could they be saved? Or are they destined to become relics of a forgotten era? Let's dive in and take a closer look. 1. Venice, Italy. Let's start with Venice, arguably the most famous city in Europe threatened by rising sea levels. Known for its picturesque canals and stunning architecture, Venice has been grappling with water-related issues for centuries. But in recent years, the situation has become more dire. The city has been sinking for centuries, but rising sea levels due to global warming have accelerated the process. In 2019, Venice experienced its worst flood in 50 years, with waters reaching nearly 1.87 meters, 6.14 feet, above sea level. The city is vulnerable to storm surges from the Adriatic Sea, and a combination of poor infrastructure and climate change is hastening its decline. While the city is fighting back with massive flood barriers like the MOSE project, experts warn that it might not be enough to save Venice in the long term. Could Venice disappear by 2025? It's hard to say, but unless drastic measures are taken, Venice may slowly slip under the sea. 2. Amsterdam, Netherlands. Amsterdam, the capital of the Netherlands, is another iconic European city at risk of disappearing beneath the waves. Amsterdam is built on a series of canals, and over 60% of the country lies below sea level. The Dutch have been masters at water management for centuries, using dikes and pumping systems to keep the land dry. However, as sea levels rise and extreme weather events become more common, Amsterdam's fate becomes increasingly uncertain. Even though the Netherlands has invested heavily in infrastructure to prevent flooding, scientists predict that the country may face existential risks from climate change. If sea levels rise beyond current predictions, not even the best water management systems may be enough to protect Amsterdam. By 2025, Amsterdam may face massive challenges to its infrastructure and residents, and without further investment, the future looks grim for this beloved city. 3. Naples, Italy. Naples, a city rich in history and culture, sits in the shadow of one of the world's most dangerous volcanoes, Mount Vesuvius. The eruption of Vesuvius in AD 79 famously buried the Roman cities of Pompeii and Herculaneum. But today, Naples itself faces the threat of destruction. Mount Vesuvius is an active volcano, and experts warn that another major eruption is not a matter of if, but when. With over 3 million people living in the immediate vicinity, a large-scale eruption could cause a humanitarian disaster of epic proportions. The government has evacuation plans in place, but the sheer number of residents makes it a daunting task. Additionally, Naples suffers from frequent seismic activity, which could trigger an eruption or cause widespread destruction through earthquakes. By 2025, the city could face a major disaster if Vesuvius decides to erupt, making its survival uncertain. 4. Athens, Greece. Athens, the cradle of Western civilization, is facing serious environmental threats that could endanger its future. Rising temperatures, extreme heat waves, and wildfires have become more frequent in Greece, with Athens often bearing the brunt of these climate changes. The city is already experiencing the effects of climate change, with record high temperatures causing health risks for its inhabitants and damage to its infrastructure. Additionally, Athens is situated in an earthquake-prone region, and a large earthquake could have devastating consequences for the city's ancient buildings and modern infrastructure. Urban sprawl and overpopulation also strain the city's resources, making it difficult to cope with natural disasters. If action isn't taken to mitigate the effects of climate change and reduce the city's vulnerability to earthquakes, Athens could become increasingly uninhabitable by 2025. 5. Istanbul, Turkey. Istanbul, one of the most historic cities in Europe, lies at the crossroads of two continents, Europe and Asia. While its strategic location has made it a cultural and economic hub for centuries, It also places the city in a dangerous position. The city sits on the North Anatolian Fault, one of the most active seismic zones in the world. Scientists have long predicted that Istanbul is due for a major earthquake, and if one strikes, it could be catastrophic. The city's infrastructure is not prepared for a large-scale quake, and with over 15 million residents, the human toll could be devastating. Moreover, Istanbul is also vulnerable to the impacts of rising sea levels, which threaten its coastal areas and historical landmarks. Without proper planning and preparation, Istanbul could face severe challenges to its survival by 2025. 6. Lisbon, Portugal. Lisbon, the capital of Portugal, is another city at high risk of disappearing due to natural disasters. The city was famously destroyed by an earthquake and tsunami in 1755, and it remains vulnerable to similar events today. Lisbon sits on a major fault line, and experts believe that a large earthquake could strike again at any time. Additionally, Lisbon's coastal location makes it susceptible to rising sea levels and extreme weather events, such as storms and floods. The city's infrastructure, much of which is old and in need of modernization, could struggle to withstand the effects of these disasters. By 2025, Lisbon could face significant challenges from both earthquakes and rising sea levels, putting its future in jeopardy. 7. Stockholm, Sweden. Stockholm, the capital of Sweden, is another European city facing the threat of climate change. The city is built on 14 islands and relies heavily on its waterways for transportation and commerce. However, rising sea levels and melting polar ice caps are beginning to threaten Stockholm's coastal areas. While Sweden is generally considered a leader in environmental protection and climate action, the country is not immune to the effects of global warming. Rising temperatures are causing unpredictable weather patterns, including heavy rainfall, which can lead to flooding and damage to infrastructure. Stockholm may not face immediate threats in 2025, but without continued investment in climate resilience, the city could become increasingly vulnerable to the impacts of climate change in the coming years. 8. Bordeaux, France. Bordeaux, a city known for its wine and historic architecture, is located in southwestern France, near the Atlantic coast. While Bordeaux is not as famous for its climate-related risks as some other European cities, it faces significant threats from rising sea levels and flooding. The city is situated on the Garonne River, and heavy rains can cause the river to overflow its banks, leading to severe flooding. Additionally, the city's coastal location makes it vulnerable to the impacts of rising sea levels. In recent years, Bordeaux has experienced increasingly frequent flooding events, and experts warn that the situation could worsen in the near future. By 2025, Bordeaux may face even more severe flooding, which could damage its historic buildings and disrupt the lives of its residents. 9. Dubrovnik, Croatia. Dubrovnik, often referred to as the Pearl of the Adriatic, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a popular tourist destination. However, the city's stunning location on the Adriatic coast also makes it vulnerable to rising sea levels and extreme weather events. In recent years, Dubrovnik has experienced more frequent storms and flooding, which have damaged its ancient walls and buildings. The city's popularity with tourists also puts a strain on its infrastructure, making it more difficult to cope with the effects of climate change. Without proper investment in infrastructure and climate resilience, Dubrovnik could face significant challenges by 2025, with its future as a cultural and historical landmark at risk. 10. Reykjavik, Iceland. Reykjavik, the capital of Iceland, is a city facing unique challenges due to its location near the Arctic Circle. Climate change is causing rapid warming in the Arctic, leading to melting glaciers and rising sea levels. This poses a significant threat to Reykjavik and other coastal cities in Iceland. Additionally, Iceland is located on a major fault line, making it prone to earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. In 2010, the eruption of the Eyjafjallajökull volcano caused widespread disruption across Europe, and experts warn that another major eruption could occur in the near future. Reykjavik is also experiencing more frequent extreme weather events, such as storms and heavy snowfall, which can cause damage to infrastructure and disrupt daily life. By 2025, Reykjavik could face significant challenges from both climate change and seismic activity. The future of these cities hangs in the balance, with 2025 potentially being a turning point for their survival. While some of these cities are taking steps to mitigate the effects of climate change and natural disasters, others may not have the resources or infrastructure to protect themselves. Will they survive, or will they become modern-day Atlantis-like stories? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain: without immediate action, many of Europe's most iconic cities could face an uncertain future. If you want to learn more about how to protect these cities and what steps you can take to help, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and join the conversation in the comments below. Thanks for watching.